These sanctions, Michael Chong says, are proof he's doing the right thing. The Wellington-Halton Hills MP and foreign affairs critic has been calling on the government to take stronger action against China. Chong was behind the motion back in February to declare China's treatment of Uyghur Muslims a genocide, which passed in the House of Commons. He's also called out China for its violation of international law in Hong Kong, and in response, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in China announced it was issuing sanctions on Chong and other elected officials in the U.S., UK, and Europe. Chong says these sanctions are being put in place in an attempt to silence them.
What they've essentially done is two things. First, they've banned these elected officials, myself included, from visiting China. And secondly, they've banned Chinese citizens and Chinese companies from doing business with these officials. In practical terms, it doesn't have any impact. As you know, we're in the middle of the pandemic, and I had no plans to travel anywhere outside of the country for the foreseeable future. So in practical terms, it doesn't have any impact. But what it's an attempt on part of China to do is to silence the critics of their human rights abuses, to silence the critics of China. And frankly, it's not going to work. It's going to do quite the opposite. I won't be silenced. My counterparts in Britain and in the United States and in Europe won't be silenced. In fact, this will only help us in our efforts to draw attention to these human rights abuses.
Now, despite these sanctions, Chong says they will not affect his work as a member of Parliament.
My job is to represent the good people of Wellington County and Halton Hills, and that's exactly what I'll continue to do. My first responsibility is to represent their views, something I've been doing. Many constituents have been telling me that they want the federal government to take a stronger stand on China, that they view China's threats against our citizens, our companies, and our values as unacceptable. And I think the good people of Halton Region and Wellington County are ahead of the federal government. I think they're ahead of governments. They've been saying that for some time, and it's only recently that we've started to see governments taking action.
In this release, China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs is demanding that Chong and the other officials stop their efforts, saying, quote, they must stop political manipulation on Xinjiang-related issues, stop interfering in China's internal affairs in any form, and refrain from going further down the wrong path. Otherwise, they will get their fingers burnt. When asked what he thinks about these demands, well,
I'll wear these sanctions as a badge of honor because it means that the work that we and others are doing is effective.
Reporting for Halton News, I'm Melissa Candelaria.